you're figuring out how to do compounding engineering. There's 2 people on the team, but it really feels like there's 15.
Coding with AI is more than just the coding part. Utilizing it for research, for workflows, it should be used for everything.
We haven't touched Windsurf or Cursor in the last 3 weeks. Both of those have agentic coding capabilities, but Claude just takes it one step further by simplifying it by a factor of 10.
We've been really leaning into let's AI do the work for us, and we're just managing the AI.
What you did first is spent time building a prompt that effectively builds other prompts. That's really cool. Kieran, Nityesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you
so much for having us, Tom.
I'm psyched to have you. So for people who don't know, both of you work on Cora, which is Every's AI email assistant. Kieran, you're the GM. Nityesh, you're an engineer. And beyond the fact that Cora is a really cool product, and I'm really excited to bring that to everybody who listens to this show or watches this show, I wanted to do an episode with the 2 of you because I think that you're figuring out a new way to do engineering. Because really, Cora has, there's 2 people on the team, but it really feels like there's like 15 because you've got agents who are pulling down PRs and working on branches, and then you're like pushing them up, and other agents reviewing, and it's just like this kind of crazy thing that it's a new way to build software. And Kieran, you said something the other day that like really stuck with me, which is like you're figuring out how to do compounding engineering. So with each piece of work you do, you're making it easier to do the next piece of work. And I just think that it's really important to bring what you guys are learning to everybody that watches the show, because it's like we have new tools, and so we need new principles and new workflows for using those tools. And so I'm really excited to talk to you about that.
Yeah, thanks. It's really fun to build Cora, but like being part of Every and like being in an environment where you get access to tools, like access to thinking, access to exciting new ways to work really helps us rethink how we build. So like it's really an experiment. We're building a product, Cora, but at the same time we're figuring out how we should build. And that's super interesting. And we're like right in the middle where people say, what do you think of this new model? Like how do we use this research tool? And we're just trying things out. And Nityesh and I, we've been like really feeling a shift in the last weeks, I would say, where we're like things are changing, and we're not the only ones. Like we hear other people say that as well, but not a lot of people. And what we've learned is a lot, and we want to share a little bit of what we learned. And also what we know is like we're just barely starting. We're scratching the surface of this, and it's a big shift that's happening right now by new models, by how people think, by MCP, by like just it's a lot. And it's great to talk about that from different perspectives.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is so special to be at Every because we do like every day there's someone new in the Discord who's like, I built an AI agent. Do you want to like use it before we launch it? And so, we get access to OpenAI models before they come out and sometimes Anthropic models. And so we have this like early edge. And then you guys are so good at figuring out how to actually incorporate them into like a production process. So you said, Kieran, that something changed. So I guess I want to get a sense of what you think changed and what, like, draw the broad strokes of what the workflow is that's starting to emerge for you guys.
Yeah, for me, like obviously it's like everything coming together, but I think the biggest thing is a realization in myself that coding with AI is more than just the coding part. And it's really about like utilizing it for research, for workflows, for everything. Like it should be used for everything. And we're now at a point where the agents are good enough that they can actually do everything. So we need to rethink again, like, hey, Cursor, Windsurf, like the old school way of coding was great, like more of the vibe coding, like that was one step. And then now it's the realization, oh, actually, we can just give a task and it will do it. But still, the work needs to be done by like, what do we do? How do we do it? And just a realization that we should lean into that more and really go deep. And it's like Claude Code. Like it's just good coding agents or agents available that actually start to work with new models like Claude 4, like really good at following directions and instructions. And it's all of that coming together that I realized like, oh, we're here. Like the future is here. This thing we've been talking about that was going to be the agentic evolution. Suddenly it works, and it's working in real world, non-experimental playing thing. It's just like we're building an app and it's working building the app.
So what I'm hearing is like, it's not just about developing with AI, it's all the things that go into developing that you're using AI for, and that the thing that you're using the most for this is Claude Code. Is that right? And if it's right, like tell me about, like, for people who don't know Claude Code or haven't used it, give us a little introduction to Claude Code and then tell us about like exactly how you're using it.
Yeah, Claude Code is basically the coding agent version from Anthropic that uses Claude under the hood, and it runs in your terminal as a CLI tool, which is kind of.
Do you want to share your screen and like show us?
Yeah. So Claude Code is a tool that you use in your terminal. And I know for non-technical people, this is like, oh, this is scary. But I've converted friends who were not technical to use Claude Code. And they were like, oh, this is great. But it's really simple. You just hit, you start your terminal, you say Claude, and an interface will pop up.
And basically, for people who are listening instead of watching, he's in his terminal. It's the classic black screen that feels like you're using DOS or something. And he just typed Claude, and then we just got a thing that says "Welcome to Claude Code," and there's a little text box for him to type in any command.
Yeah, and why is this different, or what makes this different? This has access to the directory or the computer, so it can look through files on my computer. Already, it can run things on my computer. It can take screenshots of websites. It can search the web. Like it has tools, but way more tools than available in a normal Claude version. And that's important because engineering work, like building stuff, you do need more tools than just like the basics. You need GitHub to see what you need to build or what the status is or what the CI pipeline does. Like, do the test fail? Like having all of these things available in one coding agent actually makes it possible for me to have a workflow or like a thing I do actually be done by an agent. And that's the important thing. Like really, the compound word comes in by doing more than just coding, because lots of, like, if you talk to an engineer, like most of the work is maybe coding, but maybe it's actually 20%, maybe 80% of the work is like figuring out what to do next, or understanding what people, like what their feedback is and how to interpret it. And what you can do here is you can, for example, like a fun way is like to use it, say, let's say, what did we ship in the last week? So like it knows stuff. So I'm asking it what we shipped, and it will most likely look at the Git log, because that's how we track what we did ship. And yeah, so it looks through the Git log, it looks at what we merged to main. And yeah, that's a fun way to use it. And for example, we can use this for product marketing. And it says, oh, these are the bug fixes, a brief skip functionality, chat panel state, email summary, XML tags, major features, brief health monitoring, time zone, auto detection. These are all things we released. And now I can say...
And it's written in a nice write-up that
it's not
can
technical.
Read it.
Yeah.
And it's actually a lot for two people. there's what, like 6 major features and like 5 important bug fixes and 3 infrastructure updates. Like that's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot. And like this week we've been really leaning into like, let's AI do the work for us, and we're just managing the AI. One other thing, for example, is if you have someone come to you like, oh, what is the status on this? Or like, what are you going to ship next week? Let's see what it will do. Can you see what is in the pipeline and what will come out soon?
So this is awesome, Nityesh. While this is going, if you want to jump in at any point, feel free to. At some point, I'll lob it to you, but also like just I'll feel free to jump in. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll see. Like, I don't know if it has project access, but like you get the gist. Like if you have the information connected to the agent, it's very easy to use it. And it's very important to use a tool you're familiar with. And at this point, I think Claude Code works the best for me. It is the most flexible because it doesn't only solve coding issues. And that's important. Lots of these coding agents are made to code. But I want to do more than coding. I want it to be like a support in engineering in general. And I think the Claude team really thought about that. They made it not too specific and they kept it general while actually being really good at solving things and looking at what it did, thinking about the mistakes it made and self-correcting. So that is stuff coming together that's very hard. That makes it possible to use now. Yeah.
What's the difference between coding in Cursor and agentic coding?
Claude Code is such a simple departure from the Cursor and Windsurf that we're used to. Like both of those have agentic coding capabilities, but Claude just takes it one step further by simplifying it by I think like a factor of 10. So what Kieran was telling earlier about how Claude Code may feel intimidating because it is a terminal, but in reality it is like so much simpler than the Windsurf and Cursor because there is nothing except a text button, text box here. Like there's no like command K, no shortcuts, no accept, delete, reject, remove. Like there's nothing. It's just a text box, and it works because the model, the underlying Claude model, is so much more capable now. So it's able to work for longer and do tool calls. So it's like a simpler UI, which makes it at the same time more powerful. Even though like the underlying model behind like Cursor and Claude Code is the same.
Yeah, and an example of this is this morning I was pulling some metrics. I was like, why didn't we get any responses to this form? And
for context, like basically we have a form that we ask people how disappointed they would be if they could no longer use Cora, so we can tell how well we're doing. And you noticed we have a weekly meeting where we go through all the metrics, and you noticed that no one had filled out that form. So you're going into Claude Code and you're asking, hey, like, why is no one filling out this form?
Yeah, I was like, there has to be something. Like this form was not sent. And I asked like, hey, 14 days ago, something went wrong. Can you see what went? And what it did, it made a checklist to-dos like fetching recent log changes to the controller, searching the code base. So it looked through what changed around that date. And it found we removed a piece of code that adds people there, which is here. Like it says, hey, actually, you just need to add this. And I said, okay, do it for me, create a pull request. And it did that. And I said, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also going to create a script that will then add everyone that we missed to it, migrate it. And that was it. Like, and the fun part was like, it didn't cost me any energy. Like it was as easy as me writing it down in GitHub to look at later. I don't need to. I just ask it and it does it immediately, which is really nice. It's like the inbox zero. Does it take less than 5 minutes? Do it kind of thing.
Yeah. I think the thing that people may not fully realize is that that's a thing. That task could take anywhere from like 30 minutes to a couple hours without AI. And it's not just that, it would require you to like focus on it and like put aside time to like sit down and do it. And now you just sort of like send off a request like that, and then you can send off another one and another one, and you have a bunch of these like sort of working in parallel. So give me like a snapshot of what that looks like concretely, like what your actual workflow is. What are you actually doing? How many tabs do you have open? Like, are you actually doing any hand coding yourself? Do you have like 5 in parallel? Are you just using Claude Code? Like, give me a sense of that.
Yeah, I'll show you my screen as well. Maybe Nityesh, you can tell what we did before, like when we got early access to Claude. Like we were excited what we did. I'll share my screen.
Yeah. So this is like one day before the Claude live stream was scheduled. We were like, okay, tomorrow coding is going to change. We'll have a much more capable model, which will be able to one-shot everything that we want. We're basically going to get like a coding genie for us. So the best, most productive thing for us to do today, instead of doing our regular scheduled programming, we should just jam for a 2-hour call where we make a massive list of issues that we want the future, like tomorrow's superior model to solve. And we did that. We created like 20 issues in terms of, like what we want to fix, what were the things that we were planning to work on, and prepared the system for the new Claude model.
Yeah, and it was funny because Nityesh had he prompted ChatGPT to say, "Hey, tomorrow we have we reached AGI. Can you help us come up with everything we need to do and like prepare the AGI to solve everything we did?" And then we fed that into the prompt improver of Anthropic, and then we used that as a prompt and we created.
Wait, before you move on. So for people who are listening, so basically you have this sort of Trello board type thing inside of GitHub, Kanban board, and for each thing that you've identified as what you want to do, it looks like you have a document that lays out in detail. Okay, if it's a feature or it's like a bug fix or whatever, it lays out in detail what it is and how to actually do it. Can you open up one of them? Okay, so like a feature is you want to generate. You want to have AI generate synthetic data. And this document has everything from a problem statement to like a solution vision to all the requirements, and all the technical requirements and like a bunch of stuff. But it seems like it has implementation steps with day counts and stuff like that. So,
which is funny.
So this is all
one day is like 1
right?
second.
Okay.
Yeah. So we use Claude Code, and we have this custom prompt that we generated to create these. Because like it's a lot of work to create these, and even with ChatGPT, like there's a lot of steps. You need to look at all the code. You need to
have to think about it a lot.
You have to think about it. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking, so it's really hard to do well. So what we did, we created a command in Claude Code. A command is kind of a custom prompt that you use a lot, and ours is like, hey, there's a feature.
Sorry, this is a command in Claude Code or a command in Cursor, because you have Cursor open.
Yeah, I have Cursor open because that's how I edit files, but it's Claude Code. So you can see we're in Claude, and I can use this command by hitting CCY, which is Claude Code, and then I say something like a problem I have, like a bug, a problem, anything. So it's very low friction. So I have this CCI command, and Nityesh and I were just jamming. We're like, oh, what if we do this? Oh, that sounds cool. And then a voice to text, and it starts. So let's see how this works, and then while it's running, we can go over the thing. So I want infinite scroll in Cora, where if I am at the end of a brief, it should load a next brief, and it should go until every brief that's unread is read. So
yeah, I just want people to understand, like, Kieran almost never types anything, and does all voice to text. So he was just doing voice to text into his terminal, into Claude Code with, I believe, an internal, as of yet unreleased internal every incubation called Monologue, which he is the number 4 biggest user of, but still under wraps. But a little preview in here coming soon. And basically, what it seems like it's doing is it's it's taking that. Is it turning that into that document that we were looking at earlier, or is it actually going and executing it?
Yeah, so what it does is it will insert whatever I said here in the feature description, and then it will follow all these steps. And these steps are research best practices. So one is grounding itself in the code base, so researching what exists. Then it's researching best practices. So it's searching the web, finding open source patterns. So it's like grounding it in like best practices in general. Then it's will present a plan. And when I say, yep, sounds good, like I like that review human in the loop for the plan, because sometimes it does it wrong, but most of the time it's right. Then I say, yep, sounds good. And then it creates the GitHub issue and it will put it in the right lane and all of that.
Oh, interesting. So it's like that whole Kanban we were looking at in GitHub earlier. You've created a way for you speak your feature into Claude Code, and then it does all the research to create that long document, and then just adds it into GitHub issues. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's an important step, because it's like this is different from cursor coding, because in cursor normally you skip this step because the tool is not really made for it. Like the tool's made to code. Yes, you can create markdown files and all of that, but let's lean into like an issue tracker. It exists and it works well and people use it, and it already hooks into existing like patterns. Like we can give this to a developer and they can implement it.
Yeah, and one of the things that just to point out is like you're running this, and I think one of the special things that when we saw Opus 4 for the first time, we were like, holy shit, is that it just runs forever without any intervention, and then gives you a pretty good result, which we've had sort of agentic type things for a little while, but it's just a way different level of autonomy and quality than we've ever had before. And it's like just checking things off of this to-do list in a way that I think other agent loops are just going to be a lot less thorough.
Yes, absolutely.
Me and Kieran have like a fun thing going on where we're trying to see who can have Claude Code running for the maximum amount of time. And, Kieran is topping the list right now. He
25 minutes.
He ran it for 25 minutes. I'm only at 8 minutes right now.
Oh man. How did you get it to go so long, Kieran?
A very, very long plan includes, it's just very, very complicated long plan, and also include a lot of tests, and just make sure that it runs all the tests and fixes all the tests. And
interesting.
It goes pretty long, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take me through. Wait, I want to understand. How did you make that prompt that creates the prompt, or like the prompt that creates the research document? So, like, how did you know which elements to put in? Did you just do the same thing where you use like the Claude prompt improver, or the Anthropic prompt improver to make that, or how did you think about putting that together?
Yeah, this is part of like the compounding effect. It's like having an idea that has like a lot of outcomes. So this was what Nityesh sent me. He said, we just got AGI, it got delivered, and we can write software. That this was your initial prompt, which is kind of fun. Like it's very dramatic. And then ChatGPT said, I'm ready. Okay, so now do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But like, do you know the Anthropic console prompt improver? You're like, what is that? Well, anyone that doesn't know, this is the, they changed it. Is this the console? Yeah, it is oh yeah, it is. Okay. They changed it a little bit, but this is great because basically you paste in a prompt or something like that, and you can say, yeah, we'll have thinking, and you click generate, and it will improve the prompt automatically. And you think like, how good can it be? It's pretty good because it's also very low friction. So like it's very easy to just take a minute to see if something comes out, if it works. If it doesn't work, delete it. Doesn't matter. We were just jamming and we were like, well, we're going to come up with 30 research tasks. So like we better have a prompt. So I just copied this prompt.
And that became the document. Yeah. Okay.
Into here and change the arguments. And then you can trigger those in Claude by doing /. And we have these two custom prompts here.
And then I think that actually gives me a much better idea of like what you mean by compounding engineering, because what it says to me is what you did first is spent time building a prompt that effectively builds other prompts, because those research documents are effectively prompts for Claude Code. And so now that you have a prompt that builds prompts, every time you want to make a new feature, you have to specify less. Like you just say the little feature and then it'll go do the research to like build it out into a big document, versus before, every single time you have to do a feature, you have to say, at first I want you to research it, and then I want you to like think through all these like different corner cases or the ways that, you know, I like things built or whatever. I think that's so cool. And what's also really interesting to point out is it's working while we've been talking, and that's just a different way to code. Like we were on the phone together like last week or the week before, and we were testing this out together, and I shipped a feature that went to prod while we were talking, which I'm not in the code base at all. So it's like kind of crazy that actually happened. And it's a kind of more social way to code. Like we're coding right now, building stuff, which was not possible before. Do you want a winning deck that'll actually help you land big deals? Pitch combines design, collaboration, and delivery all on one platform. With Pitch, there's no version chaos and no off-brand slides. It's everything that you need to create and present professional, beautiful decks. Pitch's new AI actions let you instantly rewrite slide text for any audience. They let you maintain brand tone and automatically generate slide summaries and speaker notes. And they even let you enhance visuals without starting over. Pitch manages your entire presentation workflow from design to delivery. And it does all of this without compromising on design quality. It features cloud-based collaboration, brand libraries, interactive embeds, and smart scaling tools. With Pitch, every slide you create stays on brand, thanks to custom templates and brand tones. And every presentation you share tracks engagement, so you know whether prospects have opened it. If you have a new audience, AI rewrites your messaging instantly. Do you want to track which slides resonated? Engagement analytics show you. If your client needs a dedicated space for their deal, create a custom pitch room. The Pitch platform adapts to how you actually work. When you're ready to present, share via live links or custom rooms. Pitch handles the hosting, the tracking, and the professional polish. Are you ready to design, collaborate, and close deals all on one platform? Start creating for free at pitch.com and get your team set up in minutes. That's pitch.com. Start your free trial today. And now, back to the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And so while we were talking, we did the research and we created this issue, which is cool. And we had, I think, 6 or 7 running at the same time, because we were just like, new idea, let's go. New idea, let's go. And what we also did, we went through user feedback. We read emails. We just, everything we could, we gathered, and we were just like brainstorming. And it's really fun, because if you're in this brainstorming place, you can just kick off agents and see what they come up with, and take another time to then review. So what we do also is, like to agree with you on, like, it's really fun to do this together on a call, because that's where magic happens. And there is still a human review step here, because we found that we want to look at it, see if it makes sense, if anything is missing. Like, this is having taste, experience, intuition. Like the bug I solved earlier with the email not going out. Nityesh did the same with his Claude Code, but it didn't give the right answer. Yeah, so there is still like a human touch of intuition. Like, I hinted at look at the history, and that actually made it think into the right direction. And then Nityesh didn't add look at the history, and then it said, no, everything works fine. So there is still like intuition, and
it's still a skill. It's still a skill.
It is a skill for sure. Yeah, it's absolutely a skill. There's no magic prompt that does everything. Like, it is about using it the right way and using it to its strengths for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Nityesh, how have you found this all? Because I know, Kieran is like a long time like Rails like expert person who's just like an incredible programmer, and I think you're a little bit earlier in your programming journey. So what has that been like to come to every, start working on Cora and start working on it in this way?
Yeah, no, this has been like incredibly eye-opening, I would say, because honestly, like my experience with programming is that 2 years ago when ChatGPT came out, I thought, okay, now it's perfect for me to teach myself programming and build that SaaS application and that I always wanted to. So I taught myself programming using ChatGPT from the very first day. So I have gone through all the transitions. I went from ChatGPT, and then when Cursor came out, I shifted the workflow to Cursor. And then when Windsurf got better, we shifted into Windsurf. And I was always thinking like, okay, I am at the forefront. I don't know any of my friends who are doing so much with AI, and I'm at the forefront. And then I join Every and start working with Kieran, and Kieran is at a whole other level. Like he's in our meetings, he's like never writing code, he's never typing, he's always speaking into the computer. And so I was like, okay, I need to log that into the workflow. And then even when Claude Code came out, Kieran actually pushed me into using it, and clearly it is now the way to program. Like me and Kieran, both of us, like we haven't even touched Windsurf or Cursor in the last like 3 weeks or so, or even if we do touch it, like it's usually just because we want to read something. It's basically like we're using it because we don't have VS Code on our computer. Like it wouldn't matter if it was VS Code, like the older VS Code or Cursor and stuff, because all the AI stuff is happening with Claude Code now, and it's really fun to have be in this position where the entire coding landscape just changes completely every 3 months, and you realize like nobody's at the forefront.
I gotta say, I'm jealous of you learning to code right when ChatGPT came out, because I learned to code from books like 20 years ago.
PHP 4 for dummies.
Yeah, like basic learn basic in 24 days, like Sam's Teach Yourself Basic or whatever. Yeah,
Delphi 5.
Yeah. And also, it's so funny for you to say like, I thought I was sort of at the forefront of AI coding, and then I joined Every and started working with Kieran, because it just reminds me of, I don't know if like there's this scene in Star Wars, the prequel episode 1, where like they're under the water and they're like being attacked by a sea monster, and it looks like they're gonna die, and then another bigger sea monster comes out and just like eats the one that's killing them, and Qui-Gon is like, there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
And yeah, Kieran is the bigger fish.
But I feel the same. Like you say that about me, but I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I'm running behind. We need to do like a million more things. So that's just the reality of the landscape. Like there is always more. But it's really about practice. Like you should practice using AI. You should push yourself every day. If you don't, like you'll miss very cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm curious, like personally, and also for people in the audience, like what are the problems with this, right? So basically, it sounds like you're moving to a form of coding where you don't touch the code. You're one level above. And so what are the problems that come up with that, and how are you solving them? Like, what are the new engineering practices that you need to incorporate in order to make sure that things go well?
For me, like the most important realization for me has been like this thing that I always keep going back to, especially with Claude Code. I read this in that management book, like High Output Management, which the Intel CEO wrote like 50 years ago. And the first chapter, he mentioned something like how in any production process, you should fix any problem at the lowest value stage. And I just can't stop thinking about that statement, because AI and Claude Code can now do so many things for us, it has become really important to focus on the earliest part of things. So what I mean by that is when we see that when we are using the workflow that Kieran just showed to create a GitHub, like a very detailed GitHub issue, then it's very tempting to like start another Claude Code to ask it to just, hey, go now work on this GitHub issue and fix it. But that's actually gonna be a problem, because there are chances that the plan that Claude was able to give in that issue, it wasn't the direction that you wanted to go, and you want to catch that before you ask Claude to go and implement the solution, and then you want to fix it over there.
That makes perfect sense. I really, really like that idea. The thing it reminds me of is just it's like all this stuff is like, it's like a lever, and like the further out you get on the lever, like the more power you have, but also the more power you have to go in the wrong direction. Like every little inch makes a big difference at the end. And so trying to catch it earlier, I think, is the thing that makes sure that you're not shooting off into space. Or this lever metaphor is totally breaking, but like, you know what I mean? Like if you point a rocket at the moon, like 1 inch means thousands of miles of difference. And so I guess the same thing is true with AI stuff. And I think that's actually a good lesson for me, because I tend to want to like rush through the planning stuff. It's like, it's just hard for me to like look at a document like that, like the thing that Claude is writing, and concentrate on it. So how have you guys found that?
Yeah, it's kind of boring to read most of the time. But you can make it more fun. Like you can say just like minimal, this is too much. Just but then the thing is, then it misses things again. So it's actually important. So for code, I like it to focus on user stories, or like asking questions and answering them. So let's say like, hey, what are some questions a good PM would ask about this, like that we should consider, and give like 2 options. Like it's more fun to read that than like week 1 we'll do this, week 2 we'll do that. Like it's like PRDs are boring, and you can make them a little bit more fun, or give more examples, or like you can shape that research. And that's normally what we do in the human review step. It's like, do we see any red flags? Do we need more stuff to be added? Because it will save so much time. Yeah.
That actually reminds me of something that we're finding in another part of the business. So Danny, who's been on this show, is the GM of Spiral. And inside of Spiral, we're building a writing agent. So you can think of it sort of like Claude Code, but specifically for writing tasks. And I think there's something similar about that, where sometimes you want that writing agent to shift into like an interview mode, where it like tries to understand more about who you are and what you want, rather than just like spitting out a bunch of stuff that then you have to read through. And it sounds like there's maybe something missing here in Claude Code, or these sort of coding workflows, where it would be really nice, instead of having to read that like long document, it's finding ways to like ask you questions so that the thing it outputs is more likely to be right without you having to read through the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an interesting idea for a custom command, Kieran. We should totally try that.
Yeah, for sure. Like this is something we should automate and make better, like for sure. And at the same time, it knows a lot because it has access to your code base and your style, and like that's very powerful. So like you have the code base, and it's actually pretty good doing it. Like I think, in addition to like making it very good at the beginning, I think just boring traditional tests and evals are very important as well. Because how do you know what you did is actually working? Well, you can open a console and click through it, but like, why? Just have it tested, write a test for it. Like just the bare minimum. Smoke tests are great, where you just see does it kind of work, because otherwise it does way too much. But it's a very good way to have it iterate and fix things by itself. And we haven't tried it as much yet, but we use the Figma MCP, where we say, hey, implement this from Figma. And then now there's like, you can have Puppeteer take a screenshot for a mobile version and then say, compare the two. Like we haven't really tried it out, but like we want to try more of that out. So there are these checks in place, tests in place that you normally do manually. And the same for prompts, like evals for prompts. So I kind of think of an eval as like writing a test for code. An eval is a test for a prompt. And what I've seen last week as well, I had Claude Code run an eval and then say, actually, it fails 4 out of 10 times. I said, run it 10 times. Does it always pass? No, 4 times it doesn't. I said, oh, look at the output. Well, like, why didn't it call that tool? It was a cool tool, tool call test. And it says, oh, yeah, it wasn't specific enough. And I said, okay, just keep going and change the prompt until it's passing consistently all the time. And it did it. Like, I just walked downstairs, got a coffee, walked up, and that was it. So evals are also very powerful because they will tell you if a prompt works. And similar to writing code, a test says your code works. So leaning into those more boring traditional ways is also very powerful.
That makes sense. I have a thought. Because one of the things I think is really special, and I think, Nityesh, you're in this boat too, so you tell me if I'm wrong, but one of the things I think is really special about you, Kieran, is that you just test everything. So like you've tested every single agent. Nityesh, have you used like a lot of the agents as well?
Now that's Kara.
Okay. Well, I think we could still do this. I think it'd be kind of fun. I want to spend 5 minutes with Kieran doing a S tier through F tier ranking of agents. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'll call out an agent, and then you tell me where it ranks. Are you game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Does I guess let's do cursor.
Yeah. So it's fun because cursor, like what cursor? Is it Claude 4? Is it Max? Is it
cursor on the best possible settings?
And is it the background agent or is it the okay, cursor, traditional, best possible setting, Claude. Like that's the confusing part about cursor and windsurf. Like there are like a million versions of it, and like why don't you just have the best version? And that's what I love about certain agents. They just say, look, this is the best agent. So that's why it wouldn't be the best. I would say A.
A. Okay. Cursor
is very good with Claude 4.
All right. Windsurf.
C, because they don't have Claude 4. It's ridiculous because three weeks ago they would be A, and now they're not.
Wow. Okay.
Because I switched from windsurf to or from cursor to windsurf like a few months back, but I switched back.
Okay, so we've got windsurf is a C, cursor is an A. Let's see, Devin.
It's a B.
B. Why?
It's like it's not as integrated. It's a little bit hard to set up, and the code quality is like it's not as well rounded as Cursor or Claude Code. I don't know if they use Claude 4 in the background, but like it's not as usable as the others. Charlie is like for code reviews. So we use Charlie for code reviews mostly. So I haven't really used it as an agent as much. I think Charlie as an agent is B, but it's A as a code reviewer. Like I really like the code reviews it does. So that's interesting. Like it's really good at something.
And then what about Friday?
I put Friday higher than Cursor, maybe between S and A. And it's funny because they don't even use Claude 4 yet. They're still they're still working on how they like really make it work well. It's 3.7, but like why I like it there, it's definitely different than Claude Code. But Friday has a very opinionated way of working, and I love their opinions, and it really works well, and it just does it. Like you give an issue, they make a plan, you approve, and it does it. It creates a pull request, and I've seen it do this stuff that I couldn't do with Claude Code. Like, for example, implement this Figma design. It just one-shotted a Figma design for the assistant. And I've seen moments where multiple moments like that, where it did things where like, wow, okay, I taste the future, which is really unique. And it's a small team as well. So
That
really
is
cool.
Codex.
This is B for me.
B. All right. Codex is a B. Copilot.
I haven't used Copilot.
You never use GitHub Copilot?
No. I mean, I used it 3 years ago, but okay, let's be fair. I tried it maybe a half a year ago, and after 1 second, I stopped using it.
So where do you rank it?
D. It was not agentic, but I mean, I should try the new version for sure.
We have not tried. Yeah, we haven't tried the agentic Copilot, so that's not totally fair. But okay. Are we missing anything? I feel like we are.
Claude Code.
Well, obviously Claude Code, but I assume S tier, baby.
Yeah. We have Factory as well.
Oh yeah, where do you rank Factory?
It's interesting. Factory with certain things is like better than any others, but it's not my style. It's like Factory is for more enterprisey people that are very nerdy and want like absolute bangers of code. And it's actually good, like multi-repo, stuff like that. It's a little bit hard to use because it's on the web, but also local. So I rate it B, maybe a little bit below Codex and Devin. Yeah, but it's like there is a use for it for sure.
There's something going.
Yeah.
There's something good
There's
there, but it's maybe not for us.
It's not my thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. AMP also.
M. What's that?
AMP. AMP.
AMP. Oh, AMP. Yeah.
Sorry.
How's that?
Yeah. I would put it S tier under Claude Code. Between
Whoa, another S tier.
Yes.
All right.
Why? It's very good at just getting work done. The ergonomics are pretty good. Good tools already. Like people use that tool that build it. They're dog fooding. Like you can feel from Claude Code and AMP, they're developers that love agents and they're just building the best thing and they're trying new things out. So yeah, that's it. Let's see.
This is exactly why Kieran is the big fish.
I mean,
you're stringing them together, like you're using Claude Code and Friday and other stuff all at the same time, which is the thing that is really cool.
Yeah, like how I think about it, like I'm thinking about it more. It's like you're interviewing for a role and you find a developer to like solve a certain problem. I think it's similar with coding agents. Like Friday is good at like doing UI now. So if I need UI work, I will go to Friday. If I need to do research, I go to Claude Code. And yeah, there's if I want a code review, I use Charlie. Like it's fun and agents work together. You don't need to have one agent. We have Claude Code.
And that's because Charlie like works in GitHub. So you can just like CC Charlie and Charlie will do the code review on the PR.
Yeah. So we use GitHub and pull requests and normal developer flows. So humans can hook in. So we can hire someone that's very good at specific thing and review code. And then Claude Code will just do the work. But it's very powerful because it is just an ecosystem that we refined over like 20 years or whatever, like, and it works. So let's lean into that. And that's probably why Copilot will probably be fine since it's in there already. Yeah.
Wait, you actually did that recently. Like we had some infrastructure things where, we've handled tons and tons and tons of emails at Cora. So we had some infrastructure issues to work out. And I think you brought in someone who's like a real expert and then worked with them in a specific agentic way that you got what you needed from them, but it was less work for them.
Yeah. So like there was no issue yet, but we wanted more visibility in delivery of like the most important things. And I'm not very good at it, or like I know stuff, but like let's bring in someone. And what we did, we just had a conversation, like a 2-hour call, and I recorded everything. And at the end, I just fed that into Claude and say, okay, can you make 2 research issues from this? And like 10 minutes later, I said, okay, here are the issues. Can you review them? And he was like, holy, what? Like this guy, like he's not an AI skeptic, but he's like, he's very good at what he does. And normally what he does, AI is not good at yet, because like there are things AI is not as good at yet. But he was very impressed with it, and he had like very good like comments on it to iterate over it. And like what we basically did, we just iterated more quickly through ideas because we had something to talk about. And then I said the next day when he was like, did the human review, like, let's go. I just used Claude Code to implement it. And we sat down and did the code review. So it's like, it's just accelerated what would have taken 2 weeks maybe is now in like a few hours, which is really cool.
I love it. Well, there you have it. You've got your tier list of agents. Claude Code takes the cake. We've got AMP coming up in second, and GitHub Copilot, unfortunately, bringing up the rear, but with room for improvement once we try out their agentic capabilities. Anything else you guys want to say or talk about before we end today?
Everyone should use Claude Code or try it out, even if you're not technical. Subscribe for their Max or Pro plan. It's only $100 per month. You have unlimited access. If you're skeptical about being technical of that, it's very easy. And I've seen people, a friend of mine, he used Cursor, and I said, just use Claude Code. It's better. He's like, how much better can it be? And he said, yes, it's better. And he rebuilt everything he did with Cursor, vibe coded into Claude Code. And he's like, yeah, this is great. He felt that next step, and everyone should try it and really push their tools. Yeah.
Nityesh, any other words of wisdom?
Just be sure to check the AI's work at the lowest value stage. You want to catch those problems early.
Yeah, that's a great one. And also use Cora. Cora.computer, check it out. It's pretty awesome. We're shipping new things all the time. Thank you both for coming on. This is a true pleasure. I cannot wait to see what else you cook up over the next couple months, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gosh, folks, you absolutely positively have to smash that like button and subscribe to AI and I. Why? Because this show is the epitome of awesomeness. It's like finding a treasure chest in your backyard, but instead of gold, it's filled with pure, unadulterated knowledge bombs about ChatGPT. Every episode is a roller coaster of emotions, insights, and laughter that will leave you on the edge of your seat, craving for more. It's not just a show. It's a journey into the future with Dan Shipper as the captain of the spaceship. So do yourself a favor. Hit like, smash subscribe, and strap in for the ride of your life. And now, without any further ado, let me just say, Dan, I'm absolutely, hopelessly in love with you.